An ally of the Bolsonaro clan was arrested on suspicion of attempted homicide. Yeah, he tried to kill his ex-partner, his ex-wife, and all that. Do you remember that guy? Fernando Cerimedo? Yeah, the one who says he's a consultant. He's also a consultant for Javier Milei. It's like that with Javier Milei and with the Bolsonaro family and all that, especially with Eduardo Bolsonaro. Do you remember that in 2022 he did a live stream? Yeah, he did a live stream and presented a PowerPoint. A PowerPoint about the electronic voting machines in Brazil, saying that there was fraud in Brazil's electronic voting machines and so on. That video went viral, millions of views. And Flavio Bolsonaro, Eduardo Bolsonaro, everyone was using that video, saying there was fraud in the electronic voting machines. And people were already, kind of stirred up with the attempted coup, with that whole situation. The situation got even worse. Well, that's exactly the one who was arrested. He was arrested at the airport in Bolivia, trying to, go to Argentina, and he was caught red-handed. He is suspected of being involved in the attempted murder of his ex-wife, his former partner, who is in the hospital, okay? Under medical care. This situation doesn't help, right, guys? For God's sake. Do you remember him? It's this one. Look. Consultant allied with the Bolsonaro clan is arrested after his wife's death. Oh no, she passed away. Poor thing. The pretrial detention happened due to suspicion of involvement in a shooting attack against lawyer and activist Nadia Beliar, Cerimedo's ex-wife. The Bolivian woman was shot last Monday, the 17th, in a hotel room on Isuto Channel in Santa Cruz de la Sierra, in Bolivia. She has been hospitalized in serious condition at a clinic in the city since the beginning of the crime. The Bolivian police have detained him pending trial. The Argentine, Fernando Cerimedo, he is suspected of being involved in an attack against his own ex-wife. The strategist for Milei and friend of the Bolsonaro family, the Argentine who published the study against the voting machines. Do you remember? He did a live stream. Yes, he was arrested after a shooting attack. This is the video he published in 2022. There he had the support of all the Bolsonaro supporters, from Flavio, from Eduardo Bolsonaro, do próprio Bolsonaro, from Valdemar Costa Neto. That's when it started. So Valdemar Costa Neto hired the Instituto Voto Legal to do a study on the electronic voting machines. And they filed a lawsuit to annul the electronic voting machines. And Alexandre de Moraes fined the PL for bad faith litigation in the amount of 22 million reais. Do you remember? Because there was no fact to justify that lawsuit and the request to annul the votes from the electronic voting machines. And it was all orchestrated exactly to play into the Bolsonaro supporters' weak ideas so they would take part in the January 8th events, and it ended up turning into the mess that it did. Yeah, this one, ally, doesn't save anyone. And he was already about to flee to Argentina, to Javier Milei, where he's an ally. None of these people save anyone. Have you ever stopped to think about that? What a situation, huh? Sexist, disgusting, homophobic, transphobic, they're everything bad, all of it, these people. Then they say it's about God, country, and family. Only if it's the devil's. Go ahead and hit that button. And Flávio Bolsonaro tried to hide another failed event. Go ahead. Flavio Bolsonaro flopped and screwed. Look at this. Flavio Bolsonaro hides the low turnout at a new failed event in a gymnasium in Belo Horizonte with a capacity for 900 people. Flavio Bolsonaro hid the low turnout in videos and photos from the launch event of Flávio Bosco, his candidate for governor of Minas. Not even figures like Nicolás Ferreira managed to attract supporters to the senator's campaign's third fiasco. This is the third simultaneous event of Flávio Bolsonaro that has flopped. First, it was the launch of his candidacy, the official start. That was on Sunday, over in Copacabana. Man, it totally flopped. There were just a handful of people there, less than 9,000. Then there was that motorcycle rally he was going to do in Juiz de Fora. So few people showed up that he didn't even go. And he said he couldn't take off because the weather wasn't good. That's all just nonsense. He was warned, like, hey, don't show up here. There's no one. You'd embarrass yourself, whether it's on credit, debit, or Pix, right, Nicolas? So the motorcycle rally flopped. Those losers are screwed. And now, these events in BH, in Belo Horizonte, not even Nicolas Ferreira brought supporters. No one. A bunch of candidates there. Federal deputies, senators, running for governor of Minas Gerais. From the PL, supported by the PL. And they could barely bring anyone. The stadium could hold 900 people. I'll show you a little video so you can see how few people were there. And they, to cover it up, they put green cloth to cover the stands, all empty. Yeah, and Flavio wasn't satisfied, you know? There was a moment when Flavio mentioned everyone's name there, but didn't say Nicolas' name, who was right next to him. Why? Because it seemed like Nicolas was just there to go through the motions, just to take a picture next to him so he wouldn't lose the Bolsonarist votes, you know? But actually, look, he's not making any real effort to gather people there for the crowd, you know? Shall we watch the little video? Because here they took a close-up photo to make it look like there were a lot of people, but it was a total flop. Guys, I'm going to show the little video here really quickly. It's very short. You can see how many people were there. It's quick. Look at the video here. Pay attention. Just a few people. And here they put cloth, yellow cloth, and on the other side, green cloth to hide that the stands here were completely empty. Look here.
God be praised.
So few people. And there were congressmen, senators. Look over there. Here, the stands were covered up. Everything was empty. You could see it on Flávio Bolsonaro's face. You could tell he was really pissed off. He didn't even mention Nicolas, who was right next to him. And there were a lot of people there. Nobody managed to bring anyone. And now you want to tell me that, oh, baby Flavio is going to lose in the first round, guys. He's going to lose. There's no way. He doesn't have reach. Then you come and say to me, Andrea, what about Lulinha? And Flavio, because here's the thing. Now, I don't know if you noticed this trend. I want to talk to you about it. Now, there are a lot of people posting. Oh, because Lulinha had a conversation about, I don't know what. Lulinha is Flavio, Lula's son, who is being investigated in the INSS fraud case. Oh, because Lulinha something or other. Every day they're making up something about Lulinha. Let me tell you something. If Lulinha is involved, damn it, he'll go to jail. It doesn't matter who it is. But Flavio, why don't they give the same attention and show the same situations with Flavio? So as long as they keep focusing only on this situation with Lulinha, which in the end amounts to nothing, I'll tell you something, I'm not going to show it. I'll show it if they also show Flavio's situation. If it's only about Lulinha, it's just those people trying to see if Flavio can get a second wind and try to take Lula down. Because there's no reason for something like that. No way. Every day it's the same old thing. Oh, Lulinha. Oh, bing, bing, bing. And Flavio, guys, nothing. Who was it that demanded millions of reais from Daniel Volcaro? It was Flavio Bolsonaro, who said he didn't even know him. And so far, there hasn't been any search and seizure against Flavio. And then all the time, this corporate media is like, oh, what about Lulinha? I'm not going to show it. As long as there isn't a serious situation regarding Flavio, I'm not going to show it. Why? Because it's a farce. After the election is over, it will all go down the drain because it's nothing at all and nothing will come of it. What they're trying to do is jump the gun and discredit Lulinha. Lulinha as a candidate for re-election. That's what they're trying to do. Or else make it a level playing field, the same situation for someone else. They've already broken Lulinha's confidentiality in every possible way. Break Flavio's too. What they've just discovered now. I don't know if you saw it. You didn't see it? I'll show you, my dear. Flávio Bolsonaro, in September of last year, spoke several times with Daniel Volcaro. By phone, September of last year. Look here, I'll show you. So there's something wrong with this story, and I'm not going to be a part of it. No one is going to use me or manipulate me. No one. Look here, September 2025. Unreleased records show that Flávio Bolsonaro and Volcaro spoke on the phone at least 5 times in a single month. September 2025. The records also show that after the series of contacts, there was an additional transfer of almost $2 million abroad. Do you think it was for that idiot Bolsonaro's movie again, according to them? Bringing the reported total to $12.3 million. COAF has already discovered that this money went to the United States from Daniel Vorcaro. It was for the movie, Andrea. That's what we want to know. The police do too. They use the exact content of the calls, and the accounting for the funds allocated to the project remain unclear. What's missing? Flavio's phone records could be disclosed. No, no. Honestly, I'm asking you in good faith. What's missing to get Flavio Bolsonaro's bank records disclosed? To find out what money came in, what money didn't come in, and where it came from. What's missing to get the bank records for Eduardo and Bolsonaro disclosed? No, André. Eduardo and Bolsonaro, their accounts are blocked. It doesn't matter. 2025 was blocked, no? 2024 wasn't. You can see the past 5 years. What's missing? Oh, Lolinha. Oh, Lolinha. And what about Flávio? And then you come and tell me that Flávio's honest. He's so honest that he's Flávio Rachadinha. Imagine if he wasn't. Because now it's not Rachadinha. Now it's Flávio, mafia, charging high fees, you know. And I'm only saying this because he should be the one most concerned and most interested in being accountable to shut everyone up, including me. But he doesn't do that. Why doesn't he account for the money? Why doesn't he show where the money went? If the money went to the movie, then show the darn accounting for the movie. If there was a transfer to the movie or a bill payment, show the statements, show the invoices. But no, nothing. And Andre Mendonça, sitting back comfortably, sucking his thumb, doing nothing. What are you waiting for? The destruction of evidence? To coordinate testimonies? Is that what you're waiting for? And what about Lilinha? And what about Lilinha? Come on. The devil take him away. Devil. Shouldn't the same standard apply to Francisco too? So have some patience, people. No, this way is hard. This way is really hard. We take a more constructive approach. And they're not going to use me, no. They're not going to, no, see? When things get serious, then we'll escalate the situation. But as long as things are like this, oh, Lilinha, what? No, there's no point in trying to fool me with that talk. And the situation is so blatant that Flavio is saying now that he has to say something, right? He has to explain why. Another thing he has to explain, why he couldn't get any allies to be with him. He couldn't even get a running mate from another party. If he had managed to get a running mate from another party, he would have had more TV time. And he would have had more money for the campaign. And he couldn't get anyone from another party to be his running mate. Not a man, not a woman. He had to force Alfredo Gaspar down everyone's throat, who is just more of the same and not much at that. And to me, that's shooting himself in the foot. So he didn't. And how is he going to explain that? Do you know what he said? Oh, the judiciary is what's keeping the center from supporting me. Now it's the Supreme Court's fault. Because of your incompetence, because you've got too much baggage and people don't want to get mixed up with you because they know the atomic bomb could go off at any moment. Your life is directly involved, among other situations, with Daniel Borcaro's mafia. Then is the judiciary's fault. Oh, Jesus. These people are such a joke, and there are idiots who believe it. Oh my God. Flavio says that judicial authorities drove away the Centrão support. What? The PL candidate claimed in an interview that authorities allegedly threatened parties so they wouldn't support his presidential candidacy. No, Flavio. What is this? Own up to your incompetence. Admit that you have something to hide and that they're afraid to support you, and then they might lose support for the state representatives, federal deputies, senators, and state governors. Just say it already. The problem is you, not the judiciary. Because it got to the point you can't stop being an idiot, people. For heaven's sake. Now, Alckmin, Alcolumbre, Mota, and Lira betrayed. They're betraying Flávio Bolsonaro here. They are. Oh, thank you. He's already with Lula. Look, André, now it is. Hugo Mota has already officially declared his support for Lula. He says there's no one better than him. And Arthur Lira gave an interview and said he's not with Flavio. And they're avoiding Flavio in every possible way. Why, André? Because Flavio has a lot to hide, and it's serious. And the risk of this blowing up is very high. And another thing, I've already told you all this before, and I'm going to repeat it. Before you know it, Lula might even manage to get the end of the 6 days on, 1 day off schedule approved before the elections. Listen to what I'm telling you. That's Lula's goal. And Lula sat down 4 times with Davi Alcolumbre. And Lula will seek what's best for Brazil. And one of the urgent issues, which is already overdue, by the way, is the end of the 6 days on, 1 day off schedule. You worker, for every 5 days you work, you will have 2 days off without any reduction in your salary. That's the least that's fair. And if we look at the judiciary, at the legislative branch, we see that this is the minimum. The parliamentarians work on a 3 on, 4 off schedule. They are required to be on the floor 3 times a week. And the other 4 days, they don't have to clock in, they don't have to report anything, they don't have to do anything. They work if they want to. If they don't want to, they go home and enjoy life. So a congressman and a senator, the congressman represents the people and the senator represents the states. They work a 3 on, 4 off schedule. Why would you be required to keep doing the 6 on, 1 off schedule? It's not fair. It's very inhumane. And Lula is working to see if he can get this approved here before the election, see? And let's see what happens. Now, you can put it there. Flavio is abandoned, screwed, abandoned, and completely lost. Thank you. Abandoned. And full of bluster. And there are some people out there who hate Lula and are trying with this so-called Lulinha to stir things up. But here, we're not going to fall for that. They're going to talk, and after the election is over and Lula wins, they'll say, it was nothing, nothing happened. It was just empty talk to fool people, to see if they can try to bring down Lula. But now, the strategy isn't working. Flavio is totally flopping, and besides that, he's flopping, messed up, and he's losing on social media. That's true. Look at this poll that just came out. Look, the numbers for Lula and Flavio on social media. On the first day of the campaign, Lula had more interactions and views than Flavio at the start of the campaign. According to PT's research, events are happening in São Paulo and Rio. Look here. See? Lula recorded 3.6 million interactions, including reactions, comments, and shares, and 22 million views on the videos posted on Sunday. Flávio Bolsonaro already had 2.4 million interactions, 15.9 million views. So Lula had a lot more. And obviously, we helped with that goal because on Monday, I played Lula's entire speech here and some sad flashbacks of Flavio Bolsonaro there. completely lost. So that's important too. On social media, we set the agenda for the debate. To prevail with what, Andrea? Lula, four-time champion, first round, period. That's it. So when I tell you all guys, post it, it's not without reason either. It's to bring this up on the internet. And the more you bring it up on the internet, the more the internet is forced to show it. Do you understand, my dear? So go ahead and hit the like button, because when you like it, it automatically recommends it to more people. When you comment, this thing gets shown to other people. And when you share it, you yourself reach other people. And that's our role here, to inform, to raise awareness, and to effectively engage with the issue on social media, which has great relevance and reach. All right? So that's it. And meanwhile, look at what I'm telling you here. Look, Alcolumbre heaps praise on Lula and raises expectations about support in the elections. Look, during a visit to Petrobras drilling ship in Amapá, the Senate president thanked Lula for facing everything and everyone on the equatorial margin. And it's about discovering oil there, folks. Yes, in Amapá, in Amazonas, and so on. Look at what Senator Randolph Rodriguez explains here. Pay attention here. And Lula sent a message to Trump, which I'm going to show you.
And today is the day President Lula comes to Amapá. We are going to welcome him. We are going to Ayapoque. And from there, he will go to Poço Morfo, where the first signs of oil in Amapá were found. This first contact the President of the Republic will make, so that above all, we can continue this mobilization, this joint effort for the present and the future of Amapá. The future of prosperity and jobs for our people. Stay tuned here. Soon, the President of the Republic will be in Amapá to take the necessary steps for the Amapá that is to come. Good morning.
Well, yeah, I have to tell you, Davi Alcolumbre campaigned for Lula at the event. Bringing up what? The defense of sovereignty. And this is why Donald Trash wants to interfere in Brazil. He wants our oil. He wants our gold, and he wants our rare earths. I don't know if you know, but Venezuela, they have a vault over there in England, old England, right? Which is in the United Kingdom. Often countries have vaults in other countries to store reserves. And Venezuela has a vault there. The Venezuelan state has a vault there where they kept the gold they found in Venezuela. A lot of gold in the vault in the United Kingdom. Do you know what Trump is doing now? He's taking it. He already told the United Kingdom that he wants that money, that he wants that gold for them. Donald Trump is going to steal Venezuela's gold. Why? Because there are no more sovereign countries. Venezuela is no longer a sovereign country. It is under the rule and order of an invader. An imperialist, which is Donald Trump, who is stealing all of Venezuela's oil and isn't ashamed to say it. He says it openly. Thousands and thousands of barrels of oil are being stolen from Venezuela. And now, besides the gold there, he's also going to take the gold that's in the bank in the United Kingdom. That's what he wants to do with Brazil. You're very naive. You're very naive. If you think Donald Trump is worried about drug traffickers, about criminal organizations in Brazil, he's not worried about that. If he were really worried about that, he would solve the problem in his own country. A large part of the drugs that come to Brazil come from the United States. A large part of the weapons that come to Brazil, to the criminal organizations, come from the United States. He can't even solve the drug problem that plagues the United States within his own country. And do you think he wants to solve our problem? Are you serious? Stop being an idiot. He wants to steal from us, just like he's stealing from Venezuela, just like he tried to steal from Iran. And Iran fought back with bombs, gunfire, everything. And he didn't succeed. He's been defeated in Iran for a long time now. And I don't know if you know, but a new poll just came out. Donald Trump's highest disapproval rating. He has the lowest approval rating ever seen over there. Only 33% approval. And do you know why? Mainly because of war. Because he is spending money they don't have on war. Why? Because he wants to steal from other countries. And he failed miserably over there in Iran. And here he wants to do the same thing. When he labels the PCC and Comando Vermelho as terrorists, it's not because he's going to solve this problem. He won't. It's because that gives him the legal and technical basis, according to American law, to invade Brazil. And it's not to solve anything, it's to steal from Brazil. And with this latest discovery, you can be sure that Donald Tranqueira's eyes are shining. But Lula already sent him a message yesterday. Brazil belongs to Brazilians. The oil is ours. Brazil is ours. And you, who call yourself a patriot, you're on the wrong side. You're on the side of the traitor to the country, which is Flavio Bolsonaro, along with Eduardo Bolsonaro. I have to tell you what's really going on. Do you understand, my dear? So look, let's wake up. Traitors to the country shall not pass. Bye. And David Alcolumbre talked about this, about Lula's fight against everything and everyone who is threatening our sovereignty. He is fully engaged in a political campaign in favor of Lula. Look here, my dear. And go ahead and hit the like button, share, comment, and let's go for it. Pay attention here. Turn up the volume and let's go.
To tell President Lula, in my capacity as someone from Amapá, as President of the National Congress, thank you very much for defending it over the past 3.5 years, facing everything and everyone to defend this project so that it could reach this point today with this discovery made by Petrobras, which should be the pride of all Brazilians. Recognition is about doing justice, President. And it's necessary for us, once and for all, to recognize in Brazil those who stood up for causes that were often challenged or even criticized. Not only by Brazilians who don't understand the importance of having, as Minister Alexandre Silveira said, energy sovereignty in our country, but above all, those from other countries who unfortunately insist on, in one way or another, wanting to control the future of Brazil and the future of Brazilians. Under your leadership as President of the Republic and with the National Congress as a line of defense, we say once and for all, let us, Brazilians, who fight for the defense of our Brazil, let us decide, let us choose what we want for Brazil. And today is yet another sign in this discovery that we all know where we want to go. We know how oil wealth can improve people's lives, above all, with the resources from the social fund that go to Brazilian public education and Brazilian public health care. So, Mr. President, on behalf of the people of Amapá, on behalf of this part of Brazil, in the far north of Brazil, once again, our thanks for facing this challenge, having under your leadership the protection of national sovereignty. Long live oil, long live Petrobras, long live the future of Brazil. Thank you very much.
Now, Andrea, as you are saying, Andrea, Alcolumbre is fake. I didn't say he isn't. Alcolumbre, Hugo Mota, Arthur Lira, you have to talk to them like this. Look, one eye open, one eye closed. Got it? I didn't say they're trustworthy, but they're necessary for Lula to win in the first round. I'm not going to lie. So much so that Lula went after them. Lula went after them because they have their own political capital, they have influence within their respective states, and Lula needs that. And I always tell you, in politics, there is no empty space. If Lula doesn't occupy it, the unnameable one, soon to be prisoner, soon to be ineligible, Flavio Bolsonaro will occupy it. And we can't hand Brazil over to those useless people again, like it was handed over to Bolsonaro. And I will never forget, Bolsonaro became president because he was underestimated. And they didn't pay enough attention and didn't do the necessary work behind the scenes. Why? They underestimated him. And the far right cannot be underestimated. Lula is making alliances with these people to ensure that Brazil will not be handed over to the far right again. We had terrible results. The pandemic was on their watch, more than 700,000 deaths, many of which could have been avoided if Bolsonaro hadn't been the president. So we can't hand it over. Are they trustworthy, Andrea? They never were and they never will be. But they're necessary right now for Lula to win his fourth term in the first round. Or not? Or do you think Lula will win on his own? Or do you think the left will elect Lula on their own? They won't. The left alone won't elect Lula. He will need people from the center and the right. And there are people on the right who will vote for Lula because they don't accept it. The annoying guy, the one Bolsonaro forced on everyone, whose name is Flavio. Isn't that right? That's right. And I'm not here to sugarcoat anything for anyone. I'm telling you the truth. And it's extremely important. It would be extremely important for Lula to win in the first round, everyone. Why, Andrea? Because in the second round, these troublemakers are going to switch sides and gather everyone against Lula. And another reason why it's very important for Lula to win in the first round. What is it? The message that will be sent internationally to the world is that Brazilians, in their great majority, don't want Bolsonaro, don't want the far right anymore. Another extremely important point. And Lula is working for that, to win in the first round. And so are we. Because these same people who are standing with Lula now, if there's a second round, might just turn their backs. Then things will get difficult. I'm not going to lie. Then, my dear, hold on tight. Why, Andrea? Are you saying that because there won't be a bunch of right-wing people like there are now in the first round to split the vote? Get the point, my dears. In the first round, it's Lula on the left, center left. The rest are all right-wing and far right. Here, they will trust each other and split the votes among themselves. And they don't take votes away from Lula. Do you understand? And they will split the votes. Lula could win in the first round. Now, if Lula doesn't win in the first round, it will go to the second round. Lula will be on this side. All those people will unite to try to bring Lula down. It's going to be very difficult, much more difficult, as incredible as it may seem. And I want you to understand this political game. Oh, Andre, I know that's not reality, or rather, is not ideal. I know. The ideal would be something else, a different story. Alice in Wonderland, the wonderful world of Bobs, and everything perfect, beautiful, and wonderful. But that's not how it is. We have to work aiming for the ideal so we can get as close to it as possible, but not stray from reality. From reality, because otherwise we get lost. And we end up living either always like Alice in Wonderland or in Bob's Fantastic World, getting screwed over our whole lives. Like many Bolsonaro supporters, they are totally disconnected from reality. And the one who's disconnected from reality, what happens to them? They're easily manipulated and manipulated. Let's work with reality. And Lula is working those voter bases. Mark it down. Lula winning for the fourth time in the first round, God willing. Now, obviously, Lula knows everything I'm telling you. If there's someone who knows, it's Lula. And he knows how to work with that like no one else. And he's the best candidate we have for the presidency today, without a doubt. Especially when it comes to dealing with the imperialist, coup-plotting, fascist Donald Trump. Mark it down. Lula, four-time winner. We're always together. Those who like it, stay. Those who don't, can cry. Because the sheep only come here to cry. Then they cry, cry, cry. For heaven's sake, smash that like button, like, comment, and share. Kisses, take care, bye-bye, see you on the next live stream. Thank you.